What's happening, guys? Welcome back because you're tuned in to another episode of the Fresh.
What's my line there? What's my line? Squeeze.
Podcast featuring my meal prep for the day. We'll talk about that later, but it's me,
Sponsored but
Melvin,
not
here.
sponsored.
Halfway. It's me, Melvin, here with my brother, Ant, and we got some good stuff for y'all today. Today, we're going to be talking about, as the title says, exploring your versatility. And I don't know, I think we just have the right guys to talk about this, man. I really want to start this off about your journey, man, and just ask you a question. Also, give me time to finish my meal.
Convenient.
But you are if I write your resume, you're a professional basketball player. You're an author, published author twice, self-published. Shout out. A filmmaker. Have multiple viral videos on social media, and a new viral video that I heard on Instagram here recently that people were commenting on. Got a little buzz out there on the street, and then you got your YouTube channel going, and all these different endeavors, and a lot more that a lot of people don't know about. And I just want to ask you, how do you balance that time? What makes you want to just kind of get out of that box? What does exploring your versatility mean to you?
Yeah. First off, just glad to have gotten the invite to be on here. For those of you who don't know, I'm joking. Obviously, we're the only two guests on this podcast. The best dynamic duo. I'm realizing the more I'm on social media, the more I realize people don't really understand my humor, take me a little too seriously. But that's okay. I'm willing to explain sometimes. And in this case, yes, I'm joking. I am one of the hosts. Melvin is the other host. In case we're not up to speed yet on that. But no, when you read those things off, man, it almost feels like it gives me too much credit because it's such a daily thing now. These are small daily habits that just happen to stack into these accomplishments. Even just us sitting here right now and filming this, there are a lot of factors that have tried to keep us from doing this, not just today or this month, but over the years. And in the end, it really depends on how do you want to be remembered, one, and number two, how do you want to see yourself, right? Because for me, obviously my job, or I guess not so obviously, my job is to play professional basketball. That's my main source of income. That's my profession, so to say, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if I decide to identify with that 100%, it puts me into a box to where now my sense of self, my happiness, my joy is completely 100% linked to how I perform on the basketball court. Now, anybody who's played basketball or any other type of sport knows there are so many factors outside of your control when you're playing a game like the game of basketball. If you haven't played any sports, just think about you playing Uno, right? You can have the best strategy to win an Uno, and sometimes you still gonna have to draw 4, draw 2, draw 8, draw 32. There are so many different versions of Uno out there nowadays. I can't even.
Mm-hmm.
You go to everybody's house has a different version of Uno with new rules, new cards. I feel like I've been in jail every single time somebody packs out a new Uno edition. I'm like, bro, where is this? Where have I been? Like,
Been living under a rock.
man, what is going on? Like, what happened to just the normal? You got new colors, like the fuchsia cards. There's a limited amount of those in there, and you can put cyan onto the fuchsia, but you can't put the fuchsia onto the cyan. So
Right.
Anyway, getting back to what I'm saying here. Imagine, right, your identity is based on a game of Uno, right? Which is, yes, skill based in some ways. You can say poker, right? Same way.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a good poker player. You can have a great poker face. You can understand the ins and outs of the game, but you still have to get the right cards dealt to you. If another person gets better cards dealt to them on a certain day, on a given day, you're going to lose that game of poker. In
Mm-hmm.
basketball, I feel like you might be able to influence those cards a little bit more because your skill set it does influence the game heavily, but at the end of the day, the best shooters in the game of basketball from outside from outside the 3-point line, they shoot 40, sometimes 50%. Rarely you have somebody who shoots 50% for a season, right? That's for a career. No one's shooting 50% from behind the 3-point line for a career, right? So that means half of your shots aren't going in, and that doesn't mean every game I'm 2 out of 4, 3 out of 6, 1 out of 2. No, I might be 0 out of 2 one game and 2
Mm-hmm.
out of 2 the next game. I might be 0 out of 5 one game and 5 out of 5 the next game. I might be 0 out of 5, 0 out of 3, 0 out of 4, and then go 4 out of 5, 6 out of 7, 8 out of 10, 9 out of 11. There are so many different combinations, but if
Mm-hmm.
you can't stay mentally locked in, mentally balanced enough through those valleys, so to say, that are going to come in a life that is influenced by chance, that is influenced by factors that are not in your control, you're not going to bring out your best and you're not going to reach what you could possibly reach. So, take all of that context and bring it into my situation. For me, my goal, one of my major goals in life is to be the best basketball player I can be. And if I understand that I have to let go of the game in a specific way, in a certain way, I can't cling to the game to bring out my best. I have to have this detached focus with the game. Then I got to fill that time with something. And a lot of my colleagues, I'll say, in the professional basketball world, they fill it with video games. They fill it with all kinds of other activities that we don't need to talk about on the podcast. Not everybody, obviously, but just the majority spends that time just waiting for the next game. And I've been in that place, just killing time until the next game, or sacrificing my entire day because I know I have a practice in the evening,
Mm.
and just not letting anything else happen that day because
Mm-hmm.
I got to fully be invested into the practice, which is true. I have to be fully mentally invested into the practice. But what's exhausting me is not just spending the day, it's me being apprehensive about the practice because the practice is the only thing that determines if my day is going to go well or not.
Mm.
So, what I've decided to do in my life is to flip the equation. Instead of saying, okay, like, let me wait and see if this is a good day or not, depending on how I practice, depending on how I play. No, I'm going to make this a good day so that the practice goes even better at the end of the day.
Right.
So yeah, I might already have filmed some videos and posted them going into a practice. I might have already worked on writing one of my books
Mm.
going into a practice, and I know I gave value to the world regardless of if I have the best or worst practice of my life that day, or regardless if I have the best or worst practice, uh, regardless if I have the best or worst game of my life. I know I still contributed something positive to the world, and I feel like as a man, as a human being, that is major because now you start to, in a world that is primarily out of your control, you begin to take your day and your general set point into your hands. You decide, okay, no, I'm going to have a good day even if bad things happen in my life because I can't control if the ball goes in on a specific day or not. I can give it the best chance possible to go through the
Right.
basket, but I can
Right.
control if it goes in or not. All I can do is do my best to influence it. So,
Right.
the best way to, I mean, it's the classic example, right? Of don't think of a pink elephant, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
everybody watching you on
Yep.
the other side of the world, you have a pink elephant in your brain. Well, stop thinking about the pink elephant. Stop making it do cartwheels and hit the whoa. Why is the pink elephant now hitting the whoa? Like why is it doing TikTok dances? Millie rocking. What's going on?
Mm-hmm.
Still, like this pink elephant's going crazy. The only way to get rid of a pink elephant is not saying like, oh, don't think of the pink elephant that is now doing cartwheels with a hula hoop around his neck. Right? That's a weird visual that now we all still have because you're still fighting against this elephant. You're trying to listen to what I'm saying, but the pink elephant now is doing a 360 windmill dunk on a fast break of the NBA Finals. Okay, now the
Got
only
some
way
short
to
images there.
right, but the only way to really get rid of this dunking, cartwheeling, backflipping, TikTok dancing elephant is to replace it with something different. So now bring in the blue tiger, right?
Mm.
So now all of a sudden the elephant fades and you see the blue tiger. You put your focus onto something else. You don't forget about the pink elephant that just did all of those things that elephants should never be able to do, but now you've shifted your focus onto the tiger that for some reason is playing Super Smash Brothers and for whatever reason decided to main Little Mac, even though we all know his recovery is absolutely trash. Somewhere someone said it's booty, but I don't know if the world's ready for that. Uh,
Sub.
that
Sub.
yeah, it's, you haven't heard of that, but I think you will in the coming days, coming weeks. We'll see. We'll see. That's something that's in our vault, and I think it's good to talk about in this since we're talking about just the different creative avenues that we go down, the different ways we choose to express ourselves in this world apart from the things that we grew up doing, right? Playing basketball was the main thing that we grew up doing. And there were some other side quests and side missions, both of us in the spelling bee, for example. But basketball was always the primary focus. And it was like, okay, nothing can get in the way of that. But that only gets you so far. So, yeah, that's my major view on it is letting yourself be more than what you do. And that
Mm.
applies for anything you do outside of your main focus, right? It's posting content on social media can consume you just as much as your job can. So,
Right.
understanding that it's okay to be just a guy, just a girl, just just for me, sometimes I enjoy just being the guy who's enjoying the song on his headphones a little bit too much,
I've seen that a couple of times.
right? Just yeah, be that guy, and that can be my identity in that moment. I don't have to try to be that. Just is as tired as people are of hearing this said, like enjoying the moment, being in the present moment is the key. And the more ways you find to spend your time, the better you become at recognizing how to enjoy what you're doing when there are higher stakes and when you really, really want things to go well, still focusing on just enjoying. It allows you to detach. That's why a lot of people, when they have kids, they start to have success in other fields because they understand it's bigger than them and they can
Right.
just let go. So, yeah, I'm rambling on. Obviously, this is a topic we can talk about for ages, but
Yeah.
you got a unique perspective on it as
Yeah,
well.
for sure. I just wanted to throw you the lob there because I know that you have some good service to the world to give, just with your experience of what you've gone through, man. I think you hit something right on the head there of just being able to talk about, exploring your versatility is doing something that may not seem like it's your main focus. But in turn, you realize those side missions that you're going on, those things that you're doing on the outside of it that you focus on, help the main goal. They help the main thing that you're actually trying to do,
Yeah,
whether you realize it or not.
yeah.
Um, and I'm a dictionary guy. I'm a definition guy. Apparently on the podcast. If you haven't seen that, go ahead watch the last episode. I went through the Merriam-Webster dictionary and I created the Melvin Tobar dictionary of a word. So I actually have another definition for you guys today.
All right.
Um, Definition of versatility.
Hmm.
So I didn't just go with the Merriam-Webster because the Merriam-Webster will actually use the word in the definition, which
The act of being
royally
versatile.
irritates, it grinds my gears. Absolutely grinds my gears. I'm like, oh, what a concept.
The
Oh,
quality of being versatile.
I did some more research, and what I got today is versatility is the ability to adapt, function in multiple ways, or possess a wide range of skills and talents.
Hmm.
It implies flexibility and competence across various tasks, styles, or fields.
Hmm.
And in that, I just think it describes us, man. I mean, it's something that I've strived for. The idea of it, I don't know when it metastasized in my head. I don't know when I started to develop that, but I think you remember the time when I just called myself the side mission master. I just love doing things that are just outside of the box.
Yeah.
I've never been one to me growing up. I've never been one to fit into just one area. I was yes, I had my basketball, but I was also playing with Legos. Like I
Right.
was
Right.
doing all these different things, and you and I, especially when I met you, like you were one of the examples of all right, I'm going to do what's cool to me,
Yeah.
and the people that find that cool, like we're gonna be friends. The people that think I'm weird for it, we just gonna be somewhere else with it. And we were
Man,
never ones to just.
Ed eats his food with a fork and a knife.
Oh man, the adolescent young man brain is crazy,
I got fried for eating with a fork and a knife, man. But that's a different
insane,
story for another day.
insane work. But we've always been different and carried ourselves different, and been two authentic, unique individuals, and that's why we're able to do this and have the synergy and the bond and brotherhood that we've had for the last 10 years now. So in that exploring of the versatility is always something that I'm thinking of to push the envelope in some way. And I'm going to pinpoint one of my favorite video games here. Um, to all those who have played Assassin's Creed, specifically Assassin's Creed Unity, that was my first game that I ever played within that branch, and I fell in love with it. Obviously, the co-op, but I love personalization. I love custom character
Yeah.
customization. Like
Yeah.
I want to have a custom house that's specifically made to me. I want to have a custom car. I want to have custom everything. And just because I like to explore my creativity, what's up in this brain of mine, like I want to see that happen. Um, and in the game, one of the things that sold me on it was the idea that you can complete a mission hundreds of different ways.
Hmm.
And in that, I'm like, normally you play a game, it's like, all right, you got to do this and you got to defeat the boss this specific way. And you
Right.
got to go here and do this. And it's the same moves over and over and over again. And this game in particular, shout out to the ACU, Assassin's Creed Unity, for those that didn't catch the drift. Shout out to them because it allowed you to choose what playstyle you wanted. You think you're an assassin, you're just going out here like completing the mission. You can go in there and you have a sword. You can go in there and fight every single person and defeat every enemy in there if you want to.
Right.
If you want to play that way, you can play that way. Shout out to Michael Jordan, Last Dance. Um, but if you want to play that way, you can play that way. But also, if you want to be stealthy and not be seen and be a true assassin, you can go in there and do it. If you want to just knock everybody out, you have the ability to do it. If you want to set diffusions and distractions, you have the ability to do whatever you want as long as you accomplish the mission. And in that, that's something that I've taken and thought about because you can change your loadout and adapt different skills to it. Like
Yeah.
if you want to shoot a gun, you can get all. If you don't want to have any type of close combat, you can do that. Like you can shoot a gun, you can throw berserk blades, you can throw phantom blades, use your hidden blade. Like it's fully customizable, and I feel like the lives that we live are very similar to Assassin's Creed. Now, don't go out here assassinating anybody. That's not my PSA to y'all. I'm not assassinating anybody. Catch the catch the analogy there. Catch the imagery there. So I don't want anybody coming back to me telling, yeah, Melvin told me to do it on the Fresh Squeeze podcast. No, you don't know my name, and you don't know the podcast name either.
It's
All right,
not.
that's you.
It's not. It's not holding up in court. That's not taking us
Not
down
holding
with
up
you.
in court. Not holding up in court. But in that, that's something I think about every day in terms of like, okay, what can I do? We talk about our concept of our North Stars, with it being basketball. And in the pursuit of that, what helps this? You guys may have seen me. Y'all probably heard me smacking on this meal prep that I had. Shout out to my personal chef who may get disclosed later. I was smacking on that because that's something that I want to do. If you don't follow the Real MCJ Instagram page, that's one of the series that I'm doing of exploring how great of an athlete can I become in these next 90 days and this next 3 months. And part of that for me was just being able to eat the correct things, eat a great amount of it, eat the right portion sizes of it. It's something that I struggle with because I don't think I eat enough of the right things consistently. And same thing like with hydrating myself because I sweat so much that I don't realize it and I lose so much sodium and electrolytes to where I'm like not functional. And for me to be the best version of myself, for me to be the best basketball player that I can be, recovery and hydration and fueling like that's a non-negotiable, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so mentally I said, okay, boom, like this is what I'm going to do. And then to add on to it, I'm documenting it by recording it and sharing it with you guys. So in it, all those things may seem like, all right, Melvin, like that has nothing to do with basketball. Like you're literally off the court when you're doing all these things. But you see, it's changed my trajectory just in that decision. And I'm also saving money. But
Which
in
also
that, I'm
helps.
able, which also helps because now I can invest that time, invest that money into something else, another tool, another asset to help me get to that North Star. So being able to think outside the box and not just say, hey, like, I'm going to eat McDonald's every day because I got to callous my body. And back in the day, they didn't have all these nice meals and eat healthy and all that. Like, obviously, there's a balance. I like a good Zaxby strip,
Shout out Chad
secret menu.
Ochocinco.
Shout out Jocinco, man. I callous my body. You'll see me. Y'all see us in the summer. You know how we get. You know how we get in the summer. But in that though, it's always about constantly exploring like what little crevice, what's the next hidden thing that I didn't think could help me that can help me, that I'm actually interested in.
I gotta ask you to tell one story here. One of your Mamba moments. Tell us
Is it?
about your decision to go rock climbing.
Oh yeah, that one. Um, so I'm a little bit unique. I'm a little special. My mama says I'm special, so I believe it. And I had got invited to go rock climbing by a couple of my friends, and mind you, like I've never been rock climbing in my life. Maybe not since the little elementary school rock climb wall that you
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
you know. And I had never thought about it before. And normally, like that type of stuff, like I'm normally open to it, but this time I was really open to it because I was like, oh yeah, like that'll help me with my grip strength because in basketball, like you can jam your finger a lot and sprain your wrist and things of that nature. And I had a history of that. And so I was like, well, why does it keep happening? You know, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And I
Yep.
wasn't recovering. I wasn't rehabbing my stuff. I was just, it would hurt. I would hurt it. I would sprain it, and I would just let it go and not heal it, not do any rehab on it, and then it would just happen again. I'm sitting there wondering why. I was like, I need to strengthen this, and so
Yeah.
I saw this as an opportunity, like not only to hang out with my friends, like yes, but on the backside of it, I'm like, I'm gonna go so hard in this that I want to see my my grip strength improve. Um, so I'm a little bit obsessive when it comes to that, but that just goes to show, like that's one of the ways, like exploring your versatility. Like I could have obviously just got hand grips and done the whole thing, but I took an activity that allows me to one hang out with my people and then also actually help my game. And now I think about that as many times as possible. I mean, we've all ran together, and you know that I'm not the biggest fan of running a lot. Um, but just because I put myself around people who enjoy doing it or do it more often, it helps me and pulls me out of
Good that
that.
you threw that in because I don't know if I necessarily enjoy
Yeah,
it either. But
yeah. But you know, being around the people that we are around consistently, it's natural. It's a natural draw in, you know, for us. So that's definitely been a big thing, and my mind just naturally goes to that. So if somebody invites you to go rock climb. It'll help your grip strength because you'll be able to get into all the crevices, all the holes, and it's a great workout. I'm not gonna lie. I want to go again. So if y'all want to go, hit us up. Well, hit me up. I don't know if Ant needs needs some extra grip strength there, but
solid right now. Solid. Solid. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see this summer how my grip
mm-hmm.
strength is. Hopefully, it's gripping a
build
trophy.
the build the calluses, man. Build the calluses.
There's another story that I want to talk about because I feel like it was the genesis of just
I was wondering. We were alluding to it because we've kind of talked a little bit about it around it. So yeah, go ahead.
yeah. And hopefully, we're talking about the same thing here. But the genesis of kind of all of this here that the world hasn't even seen. It's it's on a hard drive of mine somewhere. Uh, our first
Oh,
our first
yeah, we're not even talking about this
yeah,
anymore.
we're
Yeah, I
not.
see.
We're not. We're not. This is the before that.
Yeah.
It's what laid the foundation for that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, let's talk about our first time making a film. Like how was that for you, and what did that kind of like open up
Right.
in your world?
Right. It
And
can.
is that something you think about a lot, or is it just
Mm,
kind of like, okay, yeah, that was the starting point, and I never really looked back?
mhm. Uh, Nobody's ever asked me that question, so that's a great question, sir. I'm happy to be on your podcast. Um,
I'm happy to be on your
Shout out to
podcast.
those. um, no, man. I mean, when I think back to it, I used to watch a lot of TV and I used to watch a lot of movies as a kid and really resonate with those things. I was like, everything you watch, it always gives you an idea for something. You know, I think as a natural creative person, like I would always use my imagination, and it wasn't until like we had that day that I was actually able to like say an idea and then see it happen.
Mm,
Because before, like I didn't have an outlet. I was like, I used to think I wanted to be an actor and be on TV and um, go on that. Then I was like, no, there's something deeper that I want to have. Like I want to be the one creating the stories.
mm.
And so to set the scene, we're what freshmen? I want to say we're
I
freshmen.
want to say it was freshman year,
Yeah, and we're in a gym playing basketball, waiting to get picked up from our school. And It's me and Ant and one of our other buddies there. Shout out to Q Dog. You're watching this. Shout out, man. I
Grape.
hope you. Yeah, he's not part of the Squeeze clan.
It's not. He's
Um,
not. He's not orange juice.
yeah,
He's grape.
yeah. Shout out. But that that day in that movie, I don't even know if he remembers this. Actually, I have to text him.
Yeah, that's a good question.
But we were all waiting to go home, and me and him lived in the same neighborhood actually. So I think we may have been riding together, possibly. Um, but we were playing basketball, and we just like we getting ready. And we sat down. It's just the three of us left, and time is winding down. We were just like, "Dang, bro, like, all right, probably not gonna be here for a while." And we're all
Mm-hmm.
just collectively saying that. And I don't remember the exact sequence of events, but at some point we broke down and was like, let's just make a movie. And we were like, okay, what was it going to be about? And somehow we get to where we talk about the movie is going to be about us waiting for our rides to get picked up. And we
Mm-hmm.
went around the school in the gym, and somehow it turned into this horror movie
Yeah.
um, about all of us getting picked off before we actually got to go get picked up. Like we were kind of like trapped.
Yeah.
Um, but us real time, no script, no script, all
No.
improv.
Yeah.
Multiple shots taken. I think there was a scene where I had to like cross him up,
Yes,
and
that
I
probably
think
took the longest to film.
yeah, because I think he delegated it because I was like, neither one of us was like, yeah, like I'll get crossed up on camera. Like we were both like, no, like,
Yeah.
uh, so we did that, and then shout out to my sister who made a cameo in that
Yep.
because as we were doing that, we got carried away with our time. So my ride was actually here. Um, and in the last scene of it, I wonder if we can find the clip at some point. But in the last scene of it, we're all running out of the school, like escaping the school.
Yeah.
And you can see my sister like walking up like with a mean mug on her face as if she's going to go face the villain that was trapping us in there. I actually think she was walking in and then she sees us run out and turns around. So it's even better. She's like, oh no, like um but I think about that often because I'm like, wow, like we really took an idea that literally just happened, boom, spur of a moment, and now we have something that we can see years later, 10 years later, man. And
Yeah.
that the power to do that in imagery and writing and just being creative and creating something that stays is so powerful. So that kind of leads me into a question that I have for you as well too
Okay.
about that. Our skills. I would say being creative is a skill, and you may talk about this more too. But I think a skill that we've acquired is our ability to use our imagination, but then also fulfill our imaginations and see those things come to fruition. Like actually see those things happen.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say is one skill that every athlete should adopt outside of their sport, outside of just being an athlete, that will actually help them? It may seem like it's taking away from their game. It may seem like they're doing something that's contrary to what they feel like the main mission is, but actually will help them.
I would say for athletes specifically,
Mm.
the skill of speaking is
Mm.
key. Speaking, even if it's just you talking to yourself in the mirror, or something I used to do when I was a kid. I used to record mock interviews or not record
Yes.
them. I used to go
Yes.
through the motions of being interviewed, and I would simulate my entire career in an evening. That's for fun. I would just spend my days practicing, rehearsing, becoming the greatest basketball player to ever live. That was it. I never missed a shot. Every shot I missed didn't count on the mini hoop. Like, he misses it, but they called a timeout, and y'all know the drill. Basketball players, y'all know the drill. I was every game I was 172 for 172
He gets
plus.
fouled
You're
again.
right, yeah. Getting fouled every basket that didn't go in, getting fouled. Game winners, I'm getting 50 tries per game winner at least.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, going through those different scenes, I feel like gave me the reps without me even realizing what I was doing. So the skill of speaking and being able to articulate yourself and your ideas is major, because especially if you want to become a professional, but
Right.
not even looking that far down the line. The major skill that I see coaches looking for in basketball players for sure, but I would imagine in any other sport, is vocal leadership and communication skills while you're under pressure, while you're concentrating on your task, still being able to let go of the task enough to be able to communicate with whoever's out there on the basketball court, on the field, wherever it is that you're playing your sport, being able to communicate. You have to be able to communicate with trainers and coaches and tell them what you need, tell them about your history and your body, and be able to be honest with
Right.
yourself and with others, and be able to reach out to people to seek the help that you need. If you're not comfortable in your own skin, speaking, talking about the things that are in your brain, on your heart, you can't go and find the help that you need to make it to where you want to make it to. You're not going to make it there alone. No one's ever made it there alone. So, knowing that, the skill of being a good communicator, effectively communicating your ideas, your visions, your thoughts is key, because you're going to make mistakes as well. You're going to act on instinct and you're going to make mistakes. And if your response to criticism when it comes up is always emotional,
Mm-hmm.
you're not going to gel well with any team, with any coach. If you understand that a mistake doesn't define me, and are willing to communicate in a way that says, hey, look, I understand I made a mistake, wasn't my intention, and I'm looking to do it better the next time, it's a whole different thing. A lot of people, because your fight or flight activates. Number one,
Right.
because you're put on the spot and now you feel like you have to respond, right? Someone's talking to you, challenging you. You feel like you have to say something and you don't really know what to say. So the best option is just to defend yourself. It's not what needs to happen in that moment. For me, something I've learned in my pro basketball career, in a video session, a video breakdown, a coach is breaking down the previous game, and there's a situation that wasn't your best situation, right? As I talked about in the very beginning, as we've talked about, there are a lot of different factors that go into every situation that happens in any sport, right? Going back to the Uno analogy, there are a lot of factors that lead to the draw four ending up going to you and causing you to have to draw four.
Mm-hmm.
But the fact of the matter is, you got to draw four. Nobody wants to hear, oh, well, but he reversed it, and then I had to switch cards with them, and blah. No, bruh, just draw four. Draw four, keep the game moving.
Mm-hmm.
So, taking that and putting it into the terms of the basketball video breakdown, play comes up. It's a situation, you took a shot you knew you could make and missed. And there was somebody wide open next to you that you didn't see in the moment. And on video, it looks like the right decision was to pass it to the person next to you. Why? Because in hindsight, we know you missed the shot. And the
Right.
odds of the person next to you making the shot would have been higher. We see how it played out. Why would you defend it just because it could have worked out? Oh, but no. Okay, I see what you're saying. That's all you have to
Right.
say.
Right.
Man, I missed you on that. Yeah, I didn't even see you right there. It doesn't even matter. You could still feel like you made the right decision, but now you have extra information. So the next time you're in that situation, yeah, maybe you can shoot that even more comfortably knowing like, okay, yeah, I'm still going to take this shot. And I know the next time I'm in this situation, if I don't feel comfortable, I can make this pass. I don't feel like I'm
Right.
forced to take this shot or whatever. The people around you on your team are there to help you and the team get to where you all want it to go. Everyone
Preach.
on your team wants to win every single game.
Preach.
And your coach is looking to build the best team possible. Your coach is going to need you to play your role on that team.
Mm-hmm.
So there are going to, over the course of a season, over the course of your career, there are always going to be things revealed that you don't want to be revealed. But you can't help that. If you're willing to break down your thoughts and express them in an honest way, in a way that is not premeditated, but curated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And authentic, then when you're put in those situations, you don't have to feel like you have to defend yourself. You
Right.
understand, okay, that doesn't look good. I agree with what they're saying. I also recognize there were a lot of factors that put me into a situation that was unfavorable. So I'm not going to identify with that. I'm just going to recognize it for what it is and understand, okay, if there's something I can do to make sure I'm not in that situation in the future, I'm going to do it. Because that's not just best for me, that's best for the team. So, yeah, I mean, saying all that to say, the skill of speaking, even if it's going down and reading a book to your local elementary school, to the third graders or something like that. Just get in front of people, get in situations where it's uncomfortable and speak. Because when you're speaking, when you're talking, you're being you in your most authentic form. I feel like you're getting out of your comfort zone and expressing yourself in front of people who could disagree with you, could get mad at you, could laugh at you, could criticize you, could talk about you
Right.
behind your back. Those things, right? Those all of those different factors are the same things that are going on when you're playing in front of fans,
Mm-hmm.
whatever your sport is. That's why I think us being in the spelling bee, for example, was a major advantage. So we don't the idea of pressure because people are watching, it's only a thing if you're not prepared. For us, we knew,
Right.
wow, I know these words.
Mm-hmm.
There's nothing to be nervous about. I just have to focus on what I've prepared on. I have to focus on the list that I've studied, keep calm, and execute, just like I have over and over again. But imagine if you would have gotten the list for the spelling bee in the car on the way to the spelling bee and had no chance to rehearse. Your mom didn't know the list, didn't take any time to study with you. Now all of a sudden you're on stage. Yeah, you're gonna be terrified.
Yeah.
So that's one major skill, and that's something I've just been discovering as I've decided to be more present in the
Mm-hmm.
social media world and share my thoughts and share my ideas. It's it's awesome because I really get to work on responding instead of reacting, which
Right.
is which is key in so many different things. It's going to be key in your romantic relationships, it's going to be key in your profession, it's going to be key in sports and friendships and all of these different things, because the more you want something, the more you care about something, the more emotions are going to be attached. So that's why
Right.
when somebody criticizes our life's work, the initial response, your egoic response, is, ah, you're an idiot. Why don't you like what I'm doing? What I'm doing is the best
Mhm.
thing ever. But if you say it in that way, nobody's gonna believe you, because I mean we have this saying of what's understood doesn't need to be said, and we say that more in terms
Mhm.
of like, yeah, we're on the same page already. But also, if I sit here and tell you, I mean, think about my evolution, right? My first year after playing pro basketball, I would tell every if somebody would, be talking trash or something, I'd be like, man, I'm a pro.
Yeah.
I'm a pro. Like, you're talking to me. What is more powerful, that version of me, or the somebody's like, ah, oh, bro, like you trash. I'm like, okay, yeah, I'm trash. Yeah, you got it.
Right. Yeah, man. I think what you just said just unlocked this thought in me, and it makes me think about how I was as a kid, but how you probably were as a kid as well too. And I think this is the skill that complements that speaking. Um, just being curious, man.
Hmm.
I think being curiosity is a skill. Um, because curiosity requires humility. Like in order to be a confident, everybody wants to be confident. Everybody wants to have their swag. Everybody wants to feel like they're the man or the woman. And what they be saying now, everybody wants to feel like they're him or her.
Hmm.
Like they want to feel like that guy.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't realize is that being that guy is the most humble and has the most humility out of everybody, because at some point that guy put him or herself in the fire to fail. They've done that the most, and they've learned how to get better
Hmm.
throughout those failures.
Right.
Sometimes they have successes early on, but a lot of the times those are the people like, oh, I'm just going to explore and see if I can do this. Can I do this dunk? Can I make this shot? Can I
Right.
make this move?
Right.
Can I make this move against their best defender? Can I make this move against a guy that's supposed to be better than me?
Mm-hmm.
And they don't care. They're seeking that out constantly. And I feel like as a kid, you talk about the spelling bee. Like I won my first spelling bee when I was like 8 years old in third grade. I didn't. Did I know that at the time? Like I knew I was that age and I was in that grade, but I didn't think about how like crazy that is when I say it.
Yeah.
Um, my classmates, my teacher just asked, "Hey, like we're gonna do a spelling bee. We're gonna go over spelling words or whatever." And it started in the classroom, and I just was like, "Okay, like I know how to spell these words." Then okay, we need representatives from this class. Okay, boom, I did that. Then all of a sudden we have a school spelling bee. Boom, I did that. Went to regionals my third grade year,
Yeah.
and with a chance to go to nationals as an 8 year old. And in that, I was like, if I never stood up and took on that challenge, like I didn't even view it as a challenge. I was just like, oh, like I'll try this.
Mm-hmm.
And that childlike curiosity is a lifelong tool, because it's always gonna put you. We gonna live in a world that's gonna throw things at you and be like, all right, don't mess up the status quo. Go with what you know. Don't. I sound like High School Musical. It's been in my head for the last 24 hours, but you know, we live in a world that says, all right, stay in your box. Like, don't try to push this boundary. Like, this is who you are, as opposed to going here and being like, all right, I'm curious in this because this is going to help me grow. And in that growth period comes, uh-oh. Well, we're back after technical difficulties. It's just crazy that that still happens. Um, but we'll talk about that on another episode of our theory and thought process behind that, and something we run into. But nothing's gonna
Stay
stop us.
stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah, nothing's gonna stop us from getting the squeeze out there to y'all while it's fresh. We can't give y'all no pre-recorded, no tainted stale squeeze. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's gotta be fresh, man. It's gotta
Right.
come straight out the orange. So
Right. Y'all might find some stuff that's fresh. Y'all might find some squeeze, But there's only one fresh squeeze.
Hmm. So, in that, to recap, before we're so rudely interrupted, we're talking about being curious, and that skill set within the versatility is something that changes your perspective. And it's funny that you were talking about putting yourself in those different situations and being able to speak, like using the power to speak and
Mm.
communicate to adapt, to evolve yourself. Um, and I was nodding my head and saying preach because my some of my players need to hear that. I
Mm.
coach a team. That's one of the
Mm.
ways that I'm exploring my versatility currently, and it's something that I saw myself doing, but a much older version of myself doing. I didn't necessarily see myself doing it now.
Mm.
It's been something that's been presented to me, and it's something that I just said, well, with my code that I have with myself, like this is something that I'm gonna go do. This is serving people, and this is growing me as well. And even thinking about it last night, we had practice, and there's some of my players that I'm asking them to do things they've not done before.
Mm.
I'm asking them to step into roles and to contribute to the team in ways that they haven't been asked to do, but I see that they're capable of doing
Mm-hmm.
it. And in that, there's natural growing pains that come with that. But I'm starting to see breakthroughs in their mindsets and them really coming into that sense of belief from my belief in them. And that looks different in some ways. Sometimes that's me being hard on them, and sometimes that's me like joking with them. A lot of times it's me being hard on them and being like, "Hey, like this needs to get done. I need you to do this." Um, but they always receive that as a challenge of, okay, like I know coach wants the best for me. I know that he loves me. I know what he's told. Like I know the relationship and the goals. I know he knows my goals, and so from that, I'm gonna listen to him and I'm gonna take on and embrace that challenge. Which I think they get curious. I always tell them like, this isn't a dictatorship. Yes, I'm a coach, but if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong. If you see something and you saw something different, like the last bucket of practice yesterday,
Mm.
I went on for about I went on for about 15 seconds saying, "Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad," like jokingly to one of my players because I wanted them to run this. I wanted them to run this action, and I wanted them to run it a specific way, just because I wanted a specific look. But at the end of the day, you run offense to score,
Mm-hmm.
and they scored it, and it looked beautiful. And I shut myself up in the middle of the possession and let them go. And I was like, "Oh, my bad, my bad, my bad, my bad," because I've already told them I want y'all. Y'all are the ones playing. I'm the one coaching. You know, it's my job to put you in the structure to be able to have the best chance. Like we talked about the shooting. All I'm trying to
Right.
do is be as a good coach. All I'm trying to do is put you in position so that you can put yourself in position to have the success that you want.
Right.
And if you take that position that has been structured, that's been given you, and you go out there and do it a different way than I see, like all I care about is you being successful in it. If you're successful in it, then boom, we got it.
Right.
And that just opened my eyes because I think about I could have turned down that opportunity of not being curious. Like my whole thing is like, how good can I become as a coach? You know, how great in terms of, these are my list of players, these are their goals. I gauge myself off of how close can I help these kids get to their goal,
Mm-hmm.
and not how many wins we get, not how many. I don't even know what I would receive from. I don't even know, but literally, how much better can they get? How much closer can they get to that version that they want to become of
Mm-hmm.
themselves? And at the end of the year, that's how I'm going to view my mission, um, when it comes to that. And the same thing with me as a player. How close can I come into that final form of MTJ that we've talked about our final forms, and every year we've chipped away. I've seen the progression. Every year we've chipped away. Every month we chip away, throughout every arc. And that curiosity is what keeps you going. It keeps you motivated to see how you can continue to get better. But it also humbles you because it's in order to get good at something, you have to suck at it first.
Yep.
You got to have the growing pains. We just had our first tournament. We won our first game, but we lost two. Every game, it wasn't. We got better every game, but it didn't always look like it.
Right.
It from our first practice, it looked terrible compared to what practices look like now. And if you gauge it off of that, you just set a new standard every day. But if you're not focused on that curiosity, you're gonna be like, and you think that you're all high and mighty, or that you think you're good enough already and that you don't need it, that's when you start to fail. That's when you start to go against and be contrary to the excellence that you seek out.
Yep.
Because the best were always curious. Kobe Bryant was always curious. He always worked on his game, not because he felt like, oh, like I gotta maintain the sharpness, because he was just trying to explore to see how good could he get at his pulled up,
The pull up
you know.
jumper.
Can I get here and master this? All right, can I shoot this at a different arc? Can I shoot this at a different trajectory? Raja Bell is going to be pushing me to the side. Can I make this shot 90%? Shane Battier is going to have a hand in my face trying to blind me. Can I make it over this? Like, constantly playing that imagery in your head over and over and over again is the mindset. And being able to be curious and say, like, hey, like, I don't really know how to do this, so I'm going to ask. I'm going to be humble enough to ask somebody else that has done it, which is another thing.
Yeah.
Being able to ask, like you were saying, being able to communicate and speak and say, like, hey, this is what I'm trying to do. This is my goal. This is my vision. I don't know how to get there. Can you help me in any way? And being able to go from that to that person, to the next person, to the next person, to the next person. And then all of a sudden you look back, and now you're giving that knowledge back down the pipeline. So I'll say that that childlikeness is one of the key things of, like you talked about last week, key things of last month, actually, last episode. Feels like it was last week.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Facts. Facts.
Um, but you talked about that idea of mastery, you know, being able to speak, being able to be humble, and being able to be curious, or those are the three keys to mastery. You know, having that childlike mindset. I actually have a thought, a quote from Lightning McQueen. I think we shared this with each other in our own personal group chat that we had, and I know some people will like a Lightning McQueen quote. So it goes into that curiosity and that childlike mindset that we all need to adopt, especially as athletes. And you know, Sally, shout out to Cars. If you haven't seen Cars, then I don't know about your childhood. I don't know about. I question your sanity. I question your character. If you've never seen the movie Cars, um, shout out, go watch that now. But obviously, Lightning McQueen is talking to Sally, and I believe they were talking about him going to win the Piston Cup, and just she was complimenting him on how confident he is and all those type of things. And she was like, "Why do you think that you can do this?" And his words were, "I never thought that I couldn't."
Mm-hmm.
And it's so crazy because we live in a world that makes you want to think that you can't do things. Um, makes you want to think that you don't have that you weren't born into this, or this isn't what you do, this isn't your thing, and this isn't your role, this isn't something you can aspire towards. And it's crazy to me because just having that simple mindset, like changing that frame and being like, simply like you were talking about, like instead of thinking about the pink elephant, thinking of the blue tiger, is exactly like replacing that old thought process. Because a lot of times people will be like, all right, positive thinking, I'm gonna be a glass half full type of
Right.
guy. And
Right. And try and stuff your
it's
brain with positive thoughts and
right,
affirmations, and yeah.
right. And it's something I talk about with overthinkers. Overthinking is not a bad thing if you're thinking about the right things.
Yep.
um and if your mind is ruminating on, okay, boom, like I'm gonna be curious, I'm gonna take on every single challenge I can today to see where I stack up, see where I shake up. I'm gonna go against the best player today. If I get torched, I get torched, but I'm not even gonna realize that. I'm gonna go against the best player and see the times where I get him with this move. I'm gonna go see the times where I'm able to get a stop right here.
Right.
You're doing that. Say you do that since you were a little kid, and you playing guys that's much older than you, not caring that, like, okay, at this moment in time, like they're torching me. Oh, but I was able to get this move off. I was able to do this. That gives you the confidence. That rewires your brain. I think it's neuroplasticity,
Yeah.
where your brain tangibly changes based off how you think and the things that you do, the things that become habit. And it's just crazy to me. I think that as a person growing up, young, old, unk status like how we've hit apparently. That's what I've heard.
Word on the
It's all
street.
congruent though. You're always in that arc of learning to be a child, and it's crazy. Like I'm really thinking about it real time now. Of sitting there thinking, we as a kid, all you want to do is grow up, and as an adult, all you want to do is go get younger again, so you can go back with the wisdom that you
Mm-hmm.
got and do things over.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but in adulthood, it's crazy. Like, what if you just had the mindset, like that childlike mindset of like, all right, what would the kid version of me do?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be something that I start adopting and challenging myself every day to think about it. Like, what would kid Melvin one look at me now and be like, okay, like one, would he be proud of me? I think he would be. But also, like, what would he do?
Right.
What would that spelling bee version of Melvin, that guy that walked in with the ball fade and the large head and all the teeth and everything. What would he be doing in my situation right now with these challenges that he's facing?
Yeah.
How would he explore those? And I think that's a challenge for all of us to have.
Well, what would he do?
I think that he would be doing similar things to what I'm doing now, but I think he would get so. As a kid, I hyper fixated on stuff. Like if I really wanted to go do something, like I would go do it. Like I would really go and just go out there, even if it seemed illogical. I would just really go for it, you know. Um, and I think
Why?
hmm,
Why?
you weren't thinking about what would happen if you didn't. You were thinking about you would always question and wonder what would happen. It wouldn't be a thing that would just be dormant. It wouldn't be a thing of like, oh, I thought about this and then I just stopped thinking about it. It would be like, no, like I really want this. At some point, I'm going to get this. I think about 2K. I wanted NBA 2K for a very, 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 very long time. So I asked my parents for a very, 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 very long
Mm-hmm.
time.
Mm-hmm.
And when I got it, I asked them for another one and another one and another one. And in me asking for it, actually going back to the Assassin's Creed Unity, like I asked for NBA 2K15, and just in the miscommunication of generations and stuff like that, my family got me NBA Live 15.
Mm.
And for those that are in the 2K community, there's a difference between NBA Live and NBA 2K. So that year was that's what led me to play Assassin's Creed. That's all I'm gonna say.
To put it in regular person terms, he asked for Fruit Loops, and he got the great value fruit rings. Inspired by the same thing, but it's not
Right,
not quite not quite gonna hit the same. And
right,
the real people who know are gonna tell you it's not. Those ain't no Fruit Loops.
right. But in that, that version of myself, I said, all right, I'm not able to do this right now. Like, I'm still going to get this, but I'm going to take a step in this direction and play Assassin's Creed. And I see the effect that it had on me. I'm going to play this game and get curious about it because it's something outside of, even though it looks like it's something outside of what I'm interested in. That game taught me the versatility of how to do these things the different way. That's what really spoke to me. That's what helped me
Mm-hmm.
learn. Okay, like I can go into this now. I can play both. I can play all the games. That led me to play. I can play WWE. I can play
Mm-hmm.
MLB. I can play Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably have a Minecraft episode at some point. We got to talk about it.
Yeah,
But
most definitely.
in that version of myself said, all right, like I'm knocking on this door right now and it's not opening. That's fine. That doesn't mean you completely pivot away from it. That means, all right, you do this until that opens up. Because the very next year I had 2K16, which in my opinion is the best 2K that we've had in the last 10 years. So
That speaks a lot. That says a lot because I think the key indicator of a childlike mindset in a positive sense is the lack of a feeling that everything is hanging in the balance. You feel like you have enough time ahead of you that even if this doesn't go the way you want it to go, you're just going to get them the next time. For you in the third grade spelling bee, if you would have lost, you would have been like, I'll just get them next year.
Right.
For us, the older we get, the more we feel like we might be running out of
Sense of
time.
urgency. Yeah, I felt that. I received that.
And the question is that sense of urgency really doing what you would want for it to do? Because you think, oh, okay, no, this is something I need because I need to understand that time is limited and I need to get the things done that I need to get done. But when you go to do those things, are you doing them with the same freedom that somebody who has all the time in the world would do? Are you exploring it to the extent that a kid would who says, okay, hey, yeah, like if this goes south, it's okay. I'm just going to do it again.
Right.
Oh, this drawing didn't end up how I wanted it to be. New sheet of paper. Oh, let me flip it over and go on the back. Try again. And that's how masters are made, by trying over and over and over and over and over again. Every try feels like you're getting closer to the result that you envisioned, instead of people who see time as limited, time as running out. They see every try as a potential waste of the time that's running out constantly.
Mm.
That's the key difference. That's the
Right.
key differentiating factor
Right.
between somebody who utilizes their time and gets the things done and experiences growth, and somebody who constantly feels stuck in their life.
Mm. It's a word, brother. Sound like you kind of preaching to an older version of me.
All of us, all of us. Think about this podcast. I mean,
Yeah, man.
it's us finally deciding, hey, okay, yeah, number one, life is short, and the perfect time to do
Never
it
got there.
might not ever come. So let's
Yeah.
do it imperfectly. But also, it's us iterating and figuring out how can we make each podcast better than the last. And I'm going to throw a little
Right.
story in from my side
Mhm.
that I feel like anytime I get interviewed and they ask me about like my fondest memories playing the game of basketball, I always go back to me playing one-on-one with my dad growing up. And he used to put me in a very specific situation where I would not know. I could never challenge him to one-on-one. So it was not like a situation where, hey, dad, let's play one-on-one. That rarely worked. It worked so rarely that when it did work, it was also a surprise. So I was never prepared to play one-on-one. So it was out of the blue, and 9 times out of 10, I was not getting a rematch. So if I did get a rematch, once again, it was a surprise. So I knew it was going to be 1 game to 7. That was it. That was going to be my one chance to beat him. And for me, that was my NBA Finals.
Mhm.
That was, for me, that was away from any team that I was playing on, away from any games that were going on, anybody my age. It was like I was going into a different dimension, into a different level, and fighting a whole different boss that nobody else was fighting against.
Mm.
Right? Putting it, relating it to video games. That was like, okay, this is a very niche reference, but Super Smash Brothers, very first time playing, you're playing through the game, and all of a sudden a new foe has appeared, and you're like, whoa, wait a minute. That was every time my
Yep.
dad
New
was
skills.
like, check up.
Mm-hmm.
We're playing 1-on-1. And I had to be like, okay, like there's something hanging in the balance here because I really want to beat my dad. Just like in Super Smash Brothers, you really want to unlock that character. Oh, I can get Luigi, like whatever, you know. I remember that's the one I was hyped for back
Mm-hmm.
Super Smash Brothers Melee on the GameCube. So I'm sitting here
Right.
like, okay, I gotta lock in now to this. But for me, every time I would play and lose, there would be this desire to play again.
Mm.
There would be this desire to play again. And I would, like I said, rarely get that chance. And I feel like at some point, I defined that as okay, well, your opportunities in life are limited. You're not going to get a second chance. You have to make the most of it. But that's not what led to me eventually being able to beat my dad. Did I get the second chance immediately? No, I did not. But what happens to somebody who thinks they're not going to get a second chance? Okay, they try, they fail, they stop.
Right.
Do you think I just beat my dad because I played against him, lost to him, and stopped practicing? No.
Mm-hmm.
I practiced every single day with beating my dad somewhere in the back of my mind. I knew the challenge I was preparing for. Yeah, I didn't get to turn right back around and play him again until I beat him. I didn't. But I knew at some point he was going to walk into that gym and he was going to say, check up. Game to 7. And I knew, not that I was going to beat him, I knew I was going to be more prepared than I was the last time. That's
Right.
all that mattered to me. And that is what led to me becoming a better basketball player. That's what led to me being committed to becoming better every single day. Spending that time in the gym wisely instead of just being like, oh, okay, like I missed my chance. And who knows if he'll ever ask me again. It never crossed my mind. It was at some point it's going to come. I don't know when it's going to come, but at some point I'm going to get another chance. And when I do, I'm going to be ready for it. So understanding, relating it back to just life in general, you don't got to get it right on your first try. In fact, what is getting it right?
Right.
If this video for some reason gets 5 million views, that does not mean we can't make a better video. Even if no video of ours gets 5 million views again, we'll still know the 5 million views. Yeah, that was the most viewed video, but our best video is our last video.
Right.
And I don't know if you have another thought. I'm going to finish my side of this on this thought because I know you got to go. It's a perfect example. It is a current example in our field, and now I think you know what I'm about to say.
Yes. Yes, I do. Speak on it.
Perfect example. Bam Adebayo scored 83 points last night in the NBA. It is the second highest scoring output of any NBA basketball player ever. And any of you who don't watch basketball consistently, aren't very familiar with the NBA, you probably don't know who Bam Adebayo is. You probably know who Kobe Bryant was. And you might have heard of Wilt Chamberlain. Those are the other two in the top 3. Bam Adebayo scored more points in one game than 99.9% of NBA history now. But was it the second best scoring performance ever? Most are saying no. there are a lot of circumstances that led to him having the second highest scoring output in the history of the National Basketball Association. But the basketball world, for some reason, is still divided on whether or not that is the second best scoring game ever. Even though you would think more points equals better.
Right.
This is opening up a fascinating conversation that's saying, wait a minute, there's more to this. Yeah, he scored more points than LeBron, Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. The list goes on. But the quality of those different performances, because of the context of the game, so it was a close game, hard-fought game, the efficiency of the shots, also the difficulty of the shots, the resistance that they were facing, all these different things play into it. So going back to the views analogy, 83 points equals the 5 million view video. That could happen today. This could be the 5 million view video. That doesn't make it our best video ever that we can't top unless we get more views. Just like for Bam Adebayo, he might have a better game than this 83-point game. Even if he never even comes close to scoring 83 points again. I guarantee you, if you ask him, would you trade the 83-point game for a 22-point, 10-rebound game to win Game 7 in the NBA Finals? He is trading in a heartbeat.
Right.
I'll bet you Kobe Bryant would trade the 81-point game for a 50-point game to get a sixth ring.
Mm-hmm.
So we live in a very superficial world that values vanity metrics. My advice that I have to take myself every single day as well, don't get caught up in that. Focus on you going back and trying to do the thing that you've been trying to do day after day, just a little bit better than you did the last day. And you're going to love where you end up, even if the vanity metrics were best 5 years ago. You're going to be happy with where you end up, even if the casuals, so to say, are going to say your peak was 5 years ago. You're not going to care about that because you know you're doing your best work every single day.
I'll say this as my last point, and then I'll let you close this out of here, man. But you know, the idea of, and I don't know if this is cliche or not. I haven't heard it much, but I've heard it before. But make your next one your best one, and adopt that mindset. You know, the next play doesn't care about what the last play did, and I think we have something that, you know, we have our Bam Adebayo experience. We have our you know, concept of, superficially this looks like it's better,
Yes.
but internally we know that this is better. We see it with ourselves and things that we've already created.
Did I ask versus did I ask too?
Exactly. Right there in the awareness. You know, a lot of people would say that was our first video that went viral, you know, to the masses, whatever that means, you know. 58,000, 57,000 views, I want to say now.
Yeah.
And that was just like, yes, it was a good piece. Yes, we enjoyed doing it. We had fun making it. But the movie that we actually created that was longer, that was more cinematic, had a better story, a better approach, and we took the time to formulate it. That was a better piece, in our opinion. Didn't get nearly as many views.
Yep.
And that's okay. And the next movie that we put out, it may get 5 million. It may get 200. Regardless, it's going to be better than the last one that we did. That's all we're focused on. And every day that you step into that arena, whether it be your relationship, whether it be a new job, whether it be a game, or just figuring out your next level of growth, that next day needs to be better than the previous one. How can you continue to take steps to explore your versatility, continue to level up? So I'll leave y'all with that.
I'm gonna jump in on that and throw just a little gem in there as we close. Your best piece of art is not going to be your best piece of... Let me restart because we need this one. Your best piece of art is not going to be your best piece of art because it's understood by the masses and loved by them. Your best piece of art is going to be your best piece of art because it can only be appreciated by the masters of the craft.
Mm.
It's not going to speak to everybody. It's going to speak to those who ascended to the point that you've made it to.
Right.
And with that being said, know you got to get up out of here. I got to stretch my back. But glad we were able to get this done, man, and find the time, even with he who shall be named next month interfering per usual.
Right.
And yeah, glad to have you.
Solutions.
Yeah, always. And sometimes that's the purpose he plays. So we're gonna keep it moving. We're gonna keep iterating ourselves, keep coming back and trying different things, and keep just making this podcast better. We thank you for being a part of it, for staying all the way until the end, and we will see you on the shorts so you can look back and see the clips of this and other episodes, and then before you know it, it'll be another International Squeeze Day, and we'll get to welcome you back onto the Fresh
Squeeze
Podcast. Appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you soon.